Welcome back. This is the second video for Wheelock's Latin chapter 15. In this one, we're going to look at the new uses of the cases that you learn in this chapter. So there are 4 new uses of the cases in this chapter. The first one is the genitive of the whole, otherwise known as the partitive genitive. The second one is the ablative with the preposition x after cardinal numbers. There's also the ablative of time when, and the ablative of time within which. We'll look at them one by one. First up, genitive of the whole. For example, pars mei we have seen before. It means part of me. This is not a genitive of possession. This is what we call the genitive of the whole or the partitive genitive. Another example we've seen before, satis pecuniae, literally enough of money. That's how they do it in Latin. In English, we would say enough money, but you must remember that in Latin they say enough of money. Enough takes the genitive in Latin. Nemo discipularum, no one of the students. Nihil temporis, again, this is not how we do it in English. In Latin, literally nothing of time. In English, we say no time, but in Latin, nothing takes the partitive genitive. Quid can also take the partitive genitive, as in quid consilii, what of plan. In English we would just say what plan, but in Latin you must use the partitive genitive. Milia virorum, thousands of men. Compare that to mille viri, the regular adjective, which means 1,000 men. Milia is a noun, thousands of men. Mille is an adjective. So viri is a noun. Mille modifies that noun. Mille happens to be an indeclinable adjective, which means that there are no changes to the ending of mille, no matter what gender number in case the noun it is modifying is. In our last example, multum boni, which means much of good. Again, in English we would just say much good, but in Latin you have to use a partitive genitive. Pay close attention to this example because the first word, multum, is an adjective, but it's standing in place of a noun, which means we call it a substantive adjective. It's acting like a noun. It happens to be neuter nominative singular. The partitive genitive is also a substantive adjective. So it looks like an adjective, but it's acting as a noun here. This one happens to be neuter singular genitive. Much of good. 2 substantive adjectives. Okay, let's go and look at some ablatives. Let's do the ablative with x after cardinal numbers. So on the last slide we saw that the noun thousands takes a partitive genitive, milia virorum, but for the other cardinal numbers, which are adjectives, 1 is an adjective, 2 is an adjective, instead we will use x plus the ablative. Cardinal numbers, because they're adjectives, means that they might or might not modify a noun. So you'll see in our examples where we use x, those adjectives are not modifying any noun. So tres amici, let's just look at a normal straight up number as an adjective, which means 3 friends. Both of these are masculine nominative plural. Tres amici, both masculine nominative plural. Compare to the phrase tres ex amicis meis, which means 3 out of my friends, or in English we would just say 3 of my friends. Tres is an adjective, there is no noun that it is modifying, then we have the preposition ex, and then we have the ablative after the preposition ex. In the example centum viri, it is a regular noun-adjective pair. Centum happens to be an indeclinable adjective, which means that no matter how it's being used in the sentence, you still use the ending um. Viri is masculine nominative plural, 100 men. But in the phrase centum ex viris, that means 100 out of the men, or 100 of the men. In the example, quaedam puella, it's a noun-adjective pair, meaning a certain girl. They're both feminine nominative singular. Quaedam ex eis means a certain one of them, a certain one out of them. Paucae amicae means a few friends. Happens to be female friends, because you'll notice that paucae and amicae are both feminine nominative plural. But if you want to say a few of my friends, you say paucae ex amicis, a few of the friends. Let's now look at some time constructions. There's two different ablative time constructions. One, you use the ablative when you want to say the time when something happened. And in the other one, you use the ablative if you want to say the time within which something happened. And I will give you some examples of both of those. So for time when did something happen? Eo tempora, at that time, non potram id facere. At that time I could not do it. When did it happen? Eo tempora, at that time, ablative of time when. Agriculae bonis annis valebant. In good years, the farmers thrived. When did they thrive? They thrived in good years, ablative of time when. Eodem die venerunt. They came on the same day. When did they come? On the same day, ablative of time when. Aestate ludebant. They used to play in the summer. When did they play? Ablative of time when, in the summer, aestate. Compare that to the ablative of time within which, paucis horis id faciet, he or she will do it within a few hours. Both the time when and the time within which are expressed in the ablative. The only difference is how you translate it in English. In my sample sentence, tribus diebus ad veniam, I will arrive within 3 days. Compare that to a time when construction, trito die ad veniam, I will arrive on the 3rd day. So you see that there really is a difference between the time when construction and the time within which construction. So you want to pay attention to which one the Latin's using so you know what it means in English. That is it for this chapter. I will see you for the next one.